the Isdal Woman. The case that never let me go. Over the years, I've studied countless criminal investigations. Some were solved within days. Others took months, even years. But every now and then, a case comes along that refuses to be forgotten. A case that follows you home. A case that keeps you awake at night. A case that leaves more questions than answers. For me, one of those cases is the mystery of the Isdal Woman. Even now, decades after her death, I still find myself looking through old reports, witness statements, and forensic records, wondering if the answer was there all along. Maybe we overlooked something. Maybe someone knows more than they ever admitted. Or maybe this is one of those rare mysteries that will never be solved. It all began on November 29th, 1970. That afternoon, a man and his two daughters were hiking through Isdalen Valley near Bergen, Norway. The area was isolated, surrounded by steep hills and rocky terrain. Locals often refer to it as Death Valley because of its dark reputation and history of tragic incidents. The family was enjoying what should have been a peaceful walk when they noticed something unusual among the rocks. At first, it appeared to be burned debris. As they moved closer, they realized it was much worse. They had found the body of a woman. When police arrived, they immediately knew something was wrong. The woman had been badly burned. Around her were several unusual items, including melted plastic containers, burned clothing, and personal belongings that had been damaged by fire. At first glance, some investigators considered the possibility of suicide, but the more evidence they collected, the less convincing that theory became. When I first examined the case files years later, one detail immediately stood out. The woman had no identification. None. No passport. No driver's license. No letters. No photographs. Nothing that could reveal who she was. Then investigators discovered something even stranger. Every label had been removed from her clothing. Every single one. Someone had carefully cut away anything that could identify where the clothes had been purchased. That wasn't normal behavior. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't random. Whoever this woman was, she either wanted to remain invisible, or someone wanted to erase her identity completely. The autopsy created even more questions. Doctors found a large quantity of sleeping pills in her stomach. At the same time, evidence suggested she had been alive while the fire was burning. There were also indications of injuries around her neck. The findings were confusing. Did she take her own life? Was she drugged? Was she murdered? Investigators couldn't agree. As detectives began searching for answers, they focused on identifying the victim. Normally, that's where a case starts. Find the identity, find the motive, find the suspect. But this case refused to follow the rules. Days passed. No missing persons reports matched her description. No family members came forward. No friends contacted authorities. It was as though she had appeared out of nowhere. Then, an important lead emerged. Several hotel employees across Norway recognized her photograph. That discovery would change the investigation completely. The mysterious woman had been traveling across the country for months, but she hadn't been using her real name. In fact, she had been using multiple names, different hotels, different identities, different stories. Sometimes she claimed to be Belgian. Other times she claimed to be French. Occasionally she gave entirely different information. The same woman. Multiple identities. No explanation. The more investigators learned about her travels, the stranger she became. Witnesses consistently described her as elegant and intelligent. She dressed well, She spoke several languages. She appeared educated, yet she avoided forming close relationships. Hotel workers noticed unusual habits. She often paid with cash. She preferred privacy. She rarely discussed her personal life. She seemed careful about everything she did, almost too careful. As detectives reconstructed her movements, they discovered she had traveled extensively throughout Europe: Germany, France, Belgium, Switzerland, Norway, and possibly other countries, but nobody knew why. One witness recalled seeing her taking notes while observing ships in a harbor. Another remembered her showing unusual interest in transportation schedules. Others claimed she appeared nervous whenever certain topics were discussed. At this point, some investigators began considering a possibility that sounded like something from a spy novel. Could she have been an intelligence operative? Remember, this was 1970. The Cold War was at its height. Europe was filled with spies. Governments monitored each other constantly. Information was valuable. Secrets were dangerous. Norway occupied